Hi guys, in this video tutorial I want to show you how to create particle effect tornado. You can see the result that we will have in the end of the tutorial, and it is actually two-dimensional effect, and 3D effect is only emulated by changing size and position of particle. So it's simple 2D effect, and that's good because we don't need too many particles to show it, and in most of cases it's fine just to have such effect. And this is only template. As you can see, there is no texture, so texture and final look of the effect is on your own, and it's actually up to artist how effect will look like. So let's start. I create new effect, call it tornado 2, and in this effect I will use advanced technique, advanced feature called custom property, particle property. Custom particle property allows you to assign a value for each particle, for example random value, and this value will live with the particle during whole its life, and you can use this value, this custom property, to make dependency on this value for other values in emitter guide. For example, you can change size depending on this value. So let me show you how it works. Add custom property, and I'll call it my vertical position. This property by default is initialized by random value from 0 to 1, and that's fine for me. I will use this value to define position of particle on the tornado. So 0 will be in the bottom of tornado and 1 on the top of it. So now for each particle we have this custom property. Let's start from starting position. Starting position is 0, fixed 0 the point, and I will use point from path, and this path will specify left side of the tornado. Now let's work with changing position. Start velocity by default is random vector with length 100, and I will change it to point from path also, because it's just convenient to specify velocity by path. Velocity will be used relatively to 0 coordinate, so you can see all particles fly right and up, right and upward, and if you change this path, particles fly in the direction of this path relatively to 0. And for velocity vector, random position on the path will be taken. So if we have wide path, then velocity vectors for particles will be pretty random, but anyway they will they will be directed to right and up direction in average. So for our tornado, I will use right direction and slightly upward. Like this, or maybe a little bit faster. Okay. I also will use motion with forces. By default, change in position is steady motion. I will use motion with forces, and by default, motion with forces goes with one directed force looking down 100 by y coordinate. So it's like a gravity that will attract particles down. Let me change size to 60, so particles will be bigger, and make more of them by specifying periodic rate for generation. Now it's 5 particles per second. First of all, I will change limit, upper limit, maximum number of particles for emitter. By default, it is 100. I'll make it 500. It should be enough. And periodic rate, I'll set to 50. And now, yeah, I didn't finish yet with start position. Start position is specified by a path, and for each particle, random position on the path is used, as you can see, in distribution group, in distribution section, and we need to use our custom property, my vertical position, to specify position on the path. And when vertical position is 0, particle should be in the start of the path, and when it is 1, particle should be in the end of the path. So instead of this distribution, random distribution, I can use simply my vertical position. Visually it will be the same because it is also random, but now we can set up other values which will be which will depend on this position on the path. For example, it will be next value will be lifetime. As you can see, all particles live 2 seconds, and we need those of them who generated in the start of the path to live like 1/5 of second, and on the top of the path we need like almost 2 seconds. So for max lifetime terminator, I change value to over my vertical position, and here you can specify graph where horizontal axis is my vertical position, which is from 0 to 1, and y-axis specifies lifetime of the particle. So for top of the path, I use almost 2 seconds to make this tornado symmetrical, and for bottom of the path, like almost a second. Let me make more particles, like 75 per second, and a little bit bigger size, 75 or maybe even 100. Yep. No, 80. Now we have two values dependent on our vertical position. It is position on the path and lifetime of the particle. Now let's make this effect more 3D. First of all, I'll tune size of the particle. I'll make it rectangle because we need to change horizontal and vertical size separately. It will be 80 by 80, and I'll set up change in size to multiplier. By default it is over particle life, and graph changes this multiplier from 1 to 0 during particle life, and you can see particles just disappear, fade out their sizes, and we need to have width of particles changing from small to maximum and back to small during particles life. And you can see there is a little bit of 3D added to the effect. I'll make it curve, so it will be a little bit smoother. And for height of particles, I also make the same, but a little bit lighter. And now we have nice 3D effect for these particles. Also, let's tune transparency. I'll set it to over particle life and make simple fade in and fade out during particle's life. Yep. Size a little bit bigger. So, yep. We have nice tornado template that can be used as a base for finished effect. The next step is nice texture for each particle, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention. See ya.